Alright, this phone is beyond needing backed up, so I'm gonna go back and document stuff. So I can do a hard reset or a factory reset on this phone. I'm probably gonna lose some of my contacts. But oh well.
In half a mile, turn right onto County Route 74. Truck stop and service, 1.9 miles. Turn at the first right onto County Route 74.
There might be a lot of useful information in here that I'm probably gonna lose, but oh well.
Right curve ahead.
We didn't really start having problems until the end of last year. I mean, we really started having problems in 2019, but
Left curve ahead.
once Sarah went away,
After
David
1/4
Ray
mile, turn left.
mellowed out, didn't backstab me as much until Sherry came along. When Sherry came along, he saw his opportunity to monkey branch, and then he started backstabbing me even more.
Turn left, Brandon Road.
Some of the things that he sent me was useful, some of it was useless. Yeah, David Ray always claims that he never wears masks, but that's a lie. He, funny story, you know, when the COVID, I can't say that word, when that C thing came out, and everybody was forced to wear masks, Judas and I basically, we didn't believe in all that crap, but at first, you know, people were making us wear them, and so we would until we finally came up with an excuse not to. A viable one, like basically our doctor said not to wear one. He would say my health advisor, I would say my doctor. And, you know, basically Dr. Ron Paul said that it's worthless, and a few other doctors said it was worthless. So I'm like, you know, I already knew it, it just validated the point. But so that was our excuse. Well, our doctor, our medical advisor said not to wear one, not to restrict our breathing, and that was our loophole. But before we knew we could use that loophole, we were both wearing a mask when they forced us to. But Judas goes around telling everybody he never, ever wore a mask, you know. And, you know, he'd say it right in front of me when I knew it was a lie. He knew I knew it was a lie. And he just bull-faced lies. And I was like, you know, he acts like it's the truth and he's a really good liar. I was like, you know, why are you lying to people over something so petty, for one? But he's got this cock-a-bull story that, oh, I never wore a mask because I'm better than everybody else, type of thing. Yeah, that's his mentality. What it boils down to is he's got a lot of lies. But that was whenever I first started realizing that he lies about everything, and he's such a good liar. I was like, what? You know, because he knew I knew the truth and he'd lie right in front of me as if I'm supposed to support his lie. Now, I refused to do that with my first wife. Well, actually, I did that with my first wife. And she got me so wrapped up into her bullshit that I decided I was never going to do that again. And now here, David Ray basically got me wrapped up into all of his lies. And I didn't even know it until the whole mask thing and started unmasking him, which is funny. So his whole mask lie started to unmask him in my eyes. So, yeah. That's another thing. You know, it's like he talks about, you know, he stole a bunch of stuff from me whenever he left the farm. And he talks about how I'm the one who stole from him when I actually gave him things like these here. I found them on discount. I bought him, my mom, Cindy, and myself a bunch of these JLB Bluetooth speaker deals. You know, I was always buying him shit, and then he robs me. And then he goes around telling everybody that I'm the one who stole from him. Okay, so this is about when Sherry came into the picture. And that's when things started going downhill.
Turn left onto South Chicago Street. Left turn ahead. Highway 53, South Chicago Street. After 1/4 mile, turn left.
Yeah, all that stuff came from the Kaplinger property.
Speed limit reduced ahead. Truck stop and service, 1.4 miles. Highway 53, South Chicago Street. Remember first left onto South Chicago Street. Chicago Street for 2 miles.
he was very knowledgeable, but I couldn't get him to do shit. And then I would have to do it, and then he would come behind me and tell me how I did it wrong. It's like, well, if you're not going to do it, then somebody's got to do it. You know, if you know how to do it so accurately, why don't you do it? But he refused. He's a lazy son of a bitch. Oh, that was a game.
Speed limit reduced ahead.
Oh, Dennis Gabriel. Let's see what that has to say.
If Jessica is calling, she needs to be free to identify herself. And she needs to not call me with a no ID on the caller. I do not take sales calls, so I don't answer phones. Generally, if it says no ID. I don't know what kind of game she's playing, but I'm happy
In
to
half
talk
a
to her
mile,
if it is
turn
Jessica.
left onto
After
I-83.
1/2 mile, turn left, then
Speed
keep
warning.
left.
Speed warning. Speed limit reduced ahead. Speed limit
Call
reduced
me if you
ahead.
like. It's up to you.
I'm surprised he sent that to me because apparently he knew about his mom's passing, but he never told his children. And then he made it out to be like Dennis never told him, which was a lie. Because he told me that Dennis told him. And then he didn't show up.
Turn into first.
And then he tried to make Dennis out to be the bad guy.
East.
Turn left, Interstate 80.
So I'm gonna play that again. I forgot that was even there.
Keep left towards Indiana.
I mean,
David, this is Dennis. If Jessica is calling, she needs to be free to identify herself. And she needs to not call me with a no ID on the caller. I do not take sales calls, so I don't answer phones. Generally, if it says no ID. I don't know what kind of game she's playing, but I'm happy to talk to her if it is Jessica. But she does know, does she not, that her grandma is dead? Call me if you like. It's up to you.
right. I don't know if you heard that. But that was November of last year. I guess that's when his mom passed away.
Interstate 80, eastbound towards
And I guess he didn't tell Jessica, and Jessica was flipping out. And David Ray lied to Jessica saying that he didn't know when I knew he knew. And so Jessica then was griping at Dennis for not telling them that
keep left.
their grandma passed away. Well,
After 250 feet,
Dennis told David Ray,
eastbound, keep left.
and he knew that David Ray was in communication with Jessica, so it was his job to tell Jessica, because I guess Dennis didn't know her number. I don't know. But
Follow
David Ray never told
eastbound
anyone except for me
20 miles.
that he knew. That he never told anybody that I know of that he knew. And except for me. And then he tried to turn around and make it out to be that his stepdad lied or not lied, neglected to tell him at all. And he had to find out through other relatives. And that was another lie that I caught him in, because I was like, well, wait a minute. You just told me like a couple days ago that your dad or stepdad told you that she was on her deathbed and that if you wanted to see her, you needed to get to Kansas City ASAP. And he never went. He never bothered. And she wasn't alive for very long. And then she passed. And he had transportation at the time. He was driving my black Chevy GMC pickup truck that I bought for him to use. Right here. You know, that was the pickup truck that I paid $700 for him to use, so he wouldn't tear up my trucks anymore, because he tore the shit out of my truck and then acted like it wasn't his problem or responsibility to maintain my equipment that he used and abused. So I took my equipment away from him, and then later I bought that truck so he would have his own truck. Alright, so not long after that was when Josh came into the picture. Now that's a spam call. So Josh ended up calling, looking for a dog sitter. And that didn't work out, so Josh went his separate ways. And that's when Josh basically told me, you literally have a bum living in your greenhouse full of trash and dead plants. And I'm like, yeah, I know, that's the dilemma that I'm working with. Not worried about the screenshots because I have them all backed up, whatever they are. About oh, okay. Yeah, he does better work for other people than he did for me. But he never did finish that job. I ended up paying him. I shouldn't have paid him until the job was finished, but I paid him ahead of time. And the job never got finished. So now, so I ended up having to basically go finish the job instead. I just finally got that job closed out like last weekend or something like that. And this was back in January of this year, February. He never finished the job.
Truck stop and service, 2.5 miles.
No engine braking ahead.
Alright, so this is when it really started going downhill. March 4th. When was the last time you checked on the goats? I checked this morning, didn't see any out. We have 4 sick goats and 1 dead goat. I'm on my way back from the vet. Make that 3 dead goats. And he automatically assumed it was worms.
Truck stop and service.
And maybe it
2.5
was.
miles.
Partly due to worms. It was also pink. They had pink eye. And then he's all like, meatloaf at grandma's. He ran off to grandma's to have dinner with Sherry, his new best friend, while he basically fucked off his responsibilities on the farm. After that, I was pretty much done with him. Basically, he wouldn't do anything I asked him to do, but he would do anything Sherry asked him to do. He was neglecting all of his responsibilities on the farm. He would tell me he would do things, but he wouldn't do them. Instead, he'd run off and do whatever Sherry wanted him to do. And he'd run off and do things with Sherry using the vehicle that I bought him. You know, if it weren't for me, he wouldn't have had transportation, but yet he forgot that until it broke down permanently. And then he wanted me to replace it. And he also wanted me to let him take it to the junkyard and junk it out so he could have the money. It's like, what about me? You know, you've been screwing me over for years. I've spent $650, $700 getting this pickup truck and getting it legal for you. I'm the one who spent all this money, yet you want to reap the rewards. Yeah. So, he didn't like confrontation. You know, he's a coward. And, you know, rather backstab me and sabotage me and talk trash behind my back than confront me about an issue. So I confronted him about an issue, and then he just basically hung up on me. Yeah, he was always sleeping. Every time I would turn around, he was asleep.
Keep right, Interstate 80, eastbound, towards Indiana.
Okay, this is when we lost Cleopatra, because she was blind, she couldn't see. She wandered off. She found her way back home, but she wandered off.
Daglash, 5.7 miles. Next opportunity, 13 miles.
And it's basically his fault because he didn't even pay any attention to the animals to know that they even had pink eye in the first place. He didn't know they had pink eye. He didn't know they were dead. I had to come home to find the problem. Yeah, he claimed he checked on them that morning. Right.
Speed limit reduced ahead.
Yeah, he said he would label the eggs and monitor the eggs. We was going to try to hatch out some chickens,
Interstate 80, eastbound towards Indiana.
but he never did. He basically just let them rot and blow up, and then the chickens became egg eaters. That was last year. So this year, I started labeling them myself. This is my handwriting. And I was monitoring them
Keep going onto I-80
because I knew
towards
he
Indiana.
wouldn't. Of course, later,
Follow Interstate 80, eastbound towards Indiana for 3.5 miles.
he took all the eggs out of the nest. I don't know what he did with them. But he claimed something came in to eat them. But there was another nest he didn't know about. And I was like, really? So, it was one I couldn't get to. So I didn't even
3
label them.
miles. Keep left onto I-80. Truck stop in service. 0.5
But
miles.
I was like, really? If something came in and ate all the eggs, why did they not eat all these other eggs in this other nook that I couldn't get into, that the chickens basically made a nest in? Yeah, enough goofing off. That's all he does all day long is fucking goof off. Looking up
After 2 miles,
shit that
keep
means
left,
nothing. It's
Interstate
not
80,
important.
Eastbound.
Some of the stuff's important, but most of it's not. It's just bullshit. He spends more time sleeping and watching movies and playing video games than he does actually working. And then he tells everybody that I'm the lazy one, that I come home and do nothing when I outwork him. I get more stuff done
Area, 5.6 miles.
in
Next
the 1 or 2
opportunity,
days that I'm
26
home
miles.
than he gets done all week long when I'm gone. Oh yeah, then he got mad at me and hung up on me again because he wanted to use my lawnmower or my mom's lawnmower, and I told him no. Because he tears shit up and he doesn't
Keep left, Interstate 80,
he doesn't take responsibility for it. He just leaves it out in the field like it's not his problem. It's like, oh, it's broke. Now you gotta fix it because it's yours. It's not mine. But then he's paranoid about other people using his stuff because he's afraid they'll do to him what he does to them.
Next opportunity, 51 miles.
Like he got his panties in a wad when I wanted to use his hedge trimmer. Like I didn't know what I was doing when I was a professional hedge trimmer. In fact, I was better at it than him. Gary
Interstate 80.
I mean, Gary liked him,
For 4.6 miles.
but he didn't respect him. You know, it's kind of like a lot of people like him because he's friendly, or he appears to be friendly and innocent, like a child, because he's like a 6-year-old. But nobody really respects him because he's an idiot and a dumbass, and he tears people's shit up, and he has no accountability, and he takes no responsibility for his actions 99% of the time. There, I said it. You don't take responsibility and accountability. So, because I said that, it only got worse, not better.
5.7 miles.
You know, that's when he started fucking me over even more, talking trash on me even more.
After 2 miles, keep left, Interstate 80, eastbound, Interstate 294, southbound, towards Indiana. Truck stop and service, 2.5 miles.
And of course he ignores me.
State border ahead.
Oh shit. I might have just got a ticket. And mark that cop in the thingy here. I don't even know what the speed limit is.
Keep left, Interstate 80, eastbound, Interstate 294, southbound,
Maybe I'm alright.
towards Indiana. Keep left onto I-294 toward Indiana. Follow Interstate 80, eastbound, Interstate 294, southbound, for 19 miles.
Yeah, basically he's a taker. He's not a giver. I don't know what those recordings were all about, but they're gone.
Truck stop and service, 0.7 miles.
Oh yeah. So this is when I went and bought Bill's blackberries and planted them in the blackberries that David Ray didn't want. I told him that I got the blackberries, and he's like, "But we don't want those blackberries, they suck." And then I was like, "Well, too late, I already planted them with the other blackberries." He goes, "Well, how am I gonna know which one's yours or which one's mine?" It's like, fucking idiot. You just literally said you didn't want them. You know? So he wanted to make a big deal that I planted my blackberries in with the blackberries that he didn't even want. He let them go wild like a year and a half ago or more. Last year, Cindy and I went and cleaned up and reorganized the blackberry patch to try to preserve them because he didn't give two shits about them. And left lane closed. I'm in the wrong lane. He didn't give two shits about them. And son of a bitch. Okay, I guess this guy's gonna let me in. Try to get over one more lane, maybe. Maybe not. So last year, Cindy and I went and cleaned up the blackberry patch so that we could preserve the blackberries, because Cindy and I liked the blackberries, but David Ray didn't want them. So we did all that work, and now then he wants to claim that they're his when he didn't even want them. So I was like, fine, fuck you. And I dug up all my blackberries and took them over to Cindy's and planted them over there. And then, when he left, after I kicked him out, he left the blackberries behind. He made a big deal about the blackberries, and then he left them behind. Like, he didn't give two shits about them. He only cared about them because I cared about them, and he wanted to claim they were his because I wanted them. Oh, how dare you want my blackberries that I don't even want? Fucking douchebag. And then he hangs up on me like a little bitch. So yeah, then Austin sends me this picture that the goats are on his property and he's pissed off. I was being a little extreme there, but he pissed me off. Basically, you know. But I made a valid point. You know, okay, he paid for nothing. He did nothing. He lived there rent-free. I paid for all of the animals' food. I paid for all of the animals' medicine. I paid for all of the animals' medical bills. I paid the mortgage. I paid for all the fencing. He put up 2 goat yards with my help, and I had to browbeat him or twist his arm to get the second one done. And then ultimately I had to pay him to do it because he just would not do it. So I paid him to do the fence. I paid for the fence. I paid for the animal food, paid for the animal medicine, paid for the animal medical bills. Plus, I owned the father. And he expects to get 100% return on my investment. No, motherfucker. I should get a return on my investment, not you, you son of a bitch. Yeah, bullshit. His reasoning is awfully one-sided. Again, I paid all the medical expenses. I paid for all the food, all the fencing, paid him to put the fencing up, and paid the mortgage while he did nothing but let the animals die because he neglected them. He wouldn't even fix the fence. He wouldn't even do the fence work to keep the animals in the goat yard when they weren't supposed to be out of the goat yard. He wouldn't do shit. Yet, my reasoning is awfully one-sided. Yet, he expects to keep 100% return on my investment, and I get nothing. He can fuck off for all I give a fuck. Well, he deserves to be yelled at and ridiculed because he's a dumbass, selfish son of a bitch motherfucker.
Speed warning.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. I think it's more like the other way around. Criticism is a reflection of self.
Speed warning.
I force myself to be psychic.
Speed warning.
Truck stop and service, 2.5 miles.
In half a mile, keep left onto I-80.
Oh, he had plenty of time to talk to me. He just would always talk down to me as if I was an idiot, and he knew more than me because he was the genius, the mastermind, and I'm just some fucking dumbass truck driver who don't know shit. I need to do everything he says because he's the most brilliant mind in the world. You know, it's like, that's the number one reason why most people don't like him, is because he's a know-it-all. And he's creepy. But he's creepy because he's a pedophile. But most people don't realize that. But a lot of people don't like him because he's a know-it-all. He always talks down to people as if they are stupid. And he's saying that I'm the one who won't let him talk to me, you know, he's the one who's saying that I'm the one who ridicules him. He's constantly been ridiculing me for years. It's like the chicken coop. Whenever
3 miles.
I would want to do it a certain way,
Onto Grand Street.
because he would say it needed to be done one way, and I'm like, okay, fine, you know, let's do it that way. But then he would never do it. So I would do it my way, and then he would tell me that I failed science or math or whatever. It's like, anytime that I disagreed with his philosophy, I must have failed whatever class in high school or junior high or whatever. It's like, oh, you must have failed science. Oh, you must have failed math class. You know, that's how he would ridicule me. He would tell everybody how to do things, but then he wouldn't do it himself. And then when they would do it, he would go behind them and tell them how they did it wrong. It's like, well, motherfucker, why don't you fucking do it? I paid you to do it. You live here for free. You get free room and board. Why aren't you doing your part? No, my job is just to tell you how to do things while you pay for everything. Bullshit. So anyways. Yeah. So, this is where I start cracking down. He claimed he's going around telling everybody I only gave him 15-day notice. Here is more than 15-day notice. April 18th is when I started giving him notice. He had 60 days as of April 18th to get his stuff out of my container because I was tired of it sitting in the mud. He doesn't do shit. He ruined my container because he would not get his shit out of the container so I can get it up out of the mud and onto the gravel. I already had gravel laid down for several years for that container to be moved, and he just would not clean his stuff out so I could move it. Now the container is going to cost me $1,500 to fix. So here's the evidence right here. April 18th was when I gave him his first notice to get his stuff out of the container. And prior to that, he had notice to get his stuff out of my mom's container. See, my mom's got that green tool shed. My mom's been telling him to get his shit out of there for months. Since like a year and a half ago. I finally had to take his shit and get it out of there and take it into the greenhouse. And then now he's claiming that I stole his stuff that was locked up in the green shed. No, last year I cleaned it out. Took all your shit, your garbage, and put it in the greenhouse because my mother didn't want it in her shed. Now, April 23rd is when I basically told him that we're done. We need to go our separate ways.
Turn around when possible.
April
On
23rd.
the right.
Now he's saying that I only gave him 15-day notice to be out July 1st. Let's see, April, May, June. Okay, okay, June, April, May, and June. That's 2 months, and then another week. So he had at least 2 months and a week notice. But he's going around telling everybody I only gave him 15-day notice. Making it look like I'm the asshole, which I am an asshole. Yo. He can fuck off. He's a douchebag. I don't care if I'm an asshole. He's a douchebag. And a loser. And a moocher. And a liar. And a parasite. And a leech. A narcissist. And a pedophile. A backstabbing son of a bitch. And that's why I'm done with him. So, I'm going to go inside and get something to eat. So I'm going to end this for now. I'll probably come back and finish this after I get done eating. Okay, bye. Alright, I'm done eating. I'm back on the road.
Keep left. Interstate 80, eastbound. Interstate 94, eastbound. US 6, eastbound.
I didn't realize the last one was an hour long. I wasn't even going to or planning on doing any commentary. I was going to just let you read it while I play music in the background, but that didn't happen.
Truck stop and service. 0.4 miles.
Half a mile. Keep
After
left
1
onto
half mile,
I-80.
keep left.
Probably ain't gonna happen on this one either. Anyways, I'm just documenting evidence because Judas is going around telling lies about me. So I'm just documenting the evidence for the world to see if they give two shits.
Keep
Because
left. Interstate 80, eastbound. Interstate 94, eastbound. US 6, eastbound.
To I-80.
I'm getting to the point to where I don't give two shits anymore, to be honest. But
Speed warning.
they always say cover your ass.
Interstate 80, eastbound. Interstate 94, eastbound. US 6, eastbound. For 5.7 miles.
One thing I learned about criminals and the criminal-minded is that they try to avoid the paper trail. Excuse me. So the best thing to do is document everything. The more they try to stay off, the paper trail, the more they incriminate themselves because they're trying to avoid the evidence. Judas goes around making up bullshit lies about me, but he has no proof, has no documents. And the only stuff that he has proof or documents are things that I don't give two shits about. Because I already tell everybody. Well, I may not tell everybody, but I'm not hiding it. You know? Like, he goes around telling everybody that I play video games on my phone while driving. Big whoop-de-doo. Right? So does he. He goes around telling everybody I got porn on my computer. Whoop-de-doo. So does he. But at least mine is legal. At least I'm not a pedophile. And I don't look at kitty porn like he does. Now, I didn't realize that
This
was...
area, 5.6 miles. Next opportunity, 21 miles.
I didn't realize that was the case until recently. I was forewarned 10 years ago, because that's why I got kicked off the family farm 10 years ago, amongst other things. They were having the same problems with him as I'm having with him. But the reason they got rid of him was because of the pedophilia stuff. They're like, we can't do this anymore, you gotta go. And of course he denied it, and I believed him, but I don't believe him no more, because I got evidence to show that he's a liar and that he actually is a pedophile. Even though I don't have actual proof,
3 miles.
I just have
Take exit 16
evidence.
on the right, onto I-80 toward Toll Road.
If that makes sense. It's evidence that incriminates him, but
Truck stop
it's
in
not
2.5 miles.
solid, written in stone evidence, you know, that he is doing anything per se. But everything points to the fact that he is, if that makes sense. So anyways, yeah, this piece here basically proves that I didn't just give him a 15-day notice like he's going around telling everybody. He had over 2 months notice. And then he ignored it. He just ignored it. He read it and ignored it.
After 2 miles, take the exit right, 16, Interstate 80, eastbound,
Acted
Interstate 90,
as if I didn't
eastbound,
even say
Toll
it.
Road.
Meanwhile, he's stabbing me in the back. Yeah, now he's being more attentive to the goats because I'm threatening to get rid of him. But it's not a threat. I was getting rid of him. You know, I told him we need to go our separate ways, but he just pretended like it never happened. Everything's hunky-dory, everything's normal. I'm gonna kiss ass while stabbing you in the back. And see, at this point, I didn't realize he was a pedophile yet. I mean, I had
In half a mile,
reason
take exit 16 on the right,
to
onto
suspect.
I-80 toward Toll Road.
1/2 mile, take the exit right, 16, Interstate 80, eastbound, Interstate 90, eastbound, Toll Road.
But I had no real evidence.
Truck stop and service, 0.3 miles.
These stupid ass truck drivers. They run up till the last minute and then cut in when they know
Take the exit right.
the exit's coming up. Douchebags.
Take the first exit on the right, onto I-80.
Truck stop and service, 0.4 miles.
And they know I let them in because I'm another truck driver.
Interstate 80,
And I did.
eastbound, Interstate 90
warning ahead.
eastbound towards Ohio.
Speed warning.
Russell Ray. That's the same guy that Jerry was talking about.
In half a mile, bear right onto I-80 toward Indiana Toll Road East. Speed warning.
Truck stop in service.
Reduced
0.7
That's not
miles.
the guy in Oklahoma that I was talking to,
Keep
though.
right. Interstate 80 eastbound.
That was a different guy.
Interstate 90 eastbound towards Ohio. Then take the freeway.
Speed
Truck
warning.
stop in service.
Right curve
0.2
Yeah, see, he
miles.
keeps all of his chats, too. So he's got all of this in his phone.
Truck stop in service. 0.4 miles.
But yet he claims I only gave him 15-day notice. And then he ignored the notice I actually gave him, the other notices I gave him. And pretended like nothing was wrong.
Interstate 80 eastbound. Interstate 90 eastbound towards Ohio. Then take the freeway.
So he resent all that. I got it in my Discord now.
Truck stop in service. 1 miles.
And that was it. Okay. I guess I can just piece these two together. Because that was really the last I spoke with him that was not on a group text. I wanted witnesses to everything I was doing.
Keep left. Interstate
So
80
this was
eastbound.
May
Interstate
5th.
90 eastbound.
As of May 5th, after May 5th, I started cracking down. And I started getting rid of him. When was Father's Day? That's when I found out about the pedophilia stuff even more. Father's Day. Oh, I can't do that while I'm on the recording.
Follow Interstate
Fathers
80 eastbound. Interstate 90 eastbound for 277
Day.
miles.
2022. June 18th. So I found out about the pedophilia stuff a month later. Oh, there's another cop.
Truck stop in service. 1.8 miles.
There's a cop here. There's a cop there. Make sure I mark them all in the GPS. So, yeah, that's when I found out about the pedophilia stuff, was in June. So a month later, I found out about the pedophilia stuff. And I don't remember when Jerry brought it up, but Jerry brought it up also. And then Cindy started talking about it. And that's when I started putting everything together about the pedophile stuff. Between my own observations, my own warnings that were basically given to me in the past, my own suspicions, and then piecing together the evidence of everyone else's experiences and suspicions and whatnot, I basically got a decent synopsis on his character as far as that goes. I don't have any proof or evidence that he's actually violated anybody, but I do have proof and evidence, not really proof, more like evidence of him being attracted to children in a romantic or sexual nature. He plays it off as, he just likes kids and he wants kids again, because he got his kids taken away from him. But it's deeper than that. And I won't go into that right now, but I've got witnesses and I've got evidence, and I've compiled everything in an app that I have on my other phone. So, there you go. Alright, I guess I'll piece these two together and make it one video since this isn't very long. And have that as my documentation for today. And then I'll work on another one. Or another one for another text message documentary database, whatever, blah blah blah, you know. Yeah, once I go through this here toll booth, I gotta go real slow so it'll pick up my thingy. There it is. Indiana's real bad about that. Okay, bye.